My name is Mark McGregor, and I'm going to be your host tonight, and I'm also going to be your speaker. But welcome to Maggiano's. How many people have been here before? Yay, how many people love Maggiano's? How many people came for the free food? Yay, right. Everybody has a packet, right? You got a packet, so you want to hold on to this. A couple things in here, if you want to take out, you'll see there's a course evaluation form. How many people have been to seminars before, classes, anything? Probably a lot of you, I would guess. Okay. So we always have an evaluation sheet. The reason I have these, one reason is I got to prove to the IRS that I actually fed all of you. This wasn't my family, and I can write it off. I can get a deduction. Secondly, most importantly, you may want to schedule an appointment. What really propelled me into this industry was when my grandmother went into a nursing home. She was actually in a nursing home for 12 years. Two of those years she was in assisted living. She had Alzheimer's, however you say it. I always say it all-timers, and I get corrected on it all the time. But anyways, and I really saw her deteriorate, but ultimately she didn't have any money, so she was on Medicaid. And seeing how she had to suffer through that, and the only thing I took away from that is she didn't remember any of it, of course, because at a certain point she lost her voice. I mean, it was almost like taking care of an invalid, and I know some of you have probably had experience with elderly people in that respect. But I wanted to get into something where I could actually serve and help people, and I really had a propensity for finance and all that. But what I found as I've been in this career for almost 32 years now, if I could go back, and I always look and I go, I don't want to change a lot because I don't have any regrets. But if I was to do anything differently, I would have gotten a degree in behavioral psychology. Because economics is one thing, understanding all that, but it's really about the conversations that you have with people and counseling with people. And talking about these concepts so that you understand them, and then ultimately you can empower yourself to make better financial decisions. And when I ask you, I'll say, what is the biggest fee that you're going to pay for in that account? What is it? Taxes. But what do most people say? The management fee. They always go, oh, I'm paying that mutual fund fee that I can't see. Or if I have an advisor managing it, that's my biggest fee that I'm paying for. And I go, no, that's minuscule. Now that's important because costs and fees are extremely important, but I would submit to you, your biggest fee you're going to pay for in retirement is taxes. So we're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to talk about inflation. It's kind of reared its ugly head, right? Has anybody bought, I don't know, what's a carton of eggs cost these days, right? Or I always go, a block of cheese. Does anybody buy blocks of cheese anymore? But anyways, but that's inflation, and we haven't seen it for quite some time. Then we're going to talk about market loss and a thing called sequence of returns risk. So that's really what we're going to focus on tonight. I'm not going to focus on specific solutions because each and every one of you have a different situation. You got to pay some taxes. So taxes are going to take up, let's just say 25 to 40% of that $100, right? Now, what about market loss? If that occurs, that's going to eat up a little bit more, okay? And I say if it occurs, and does it occur? Do we have recessions? Are we going to have another recession? Do you know when? I don't. I just know it's going to happen again because trees don't grow to the sky. And then we have the silent killer, inflation. So at the end of the day, this dollar, what we have is spendable. We thought it was $100. That's all we have to spend, okay? And the point is gaining more control so I can spend more of my dollar, all right, or my $100 or $1,000, whatever it is. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight in a little bit more detail. All right, so gaining more control. Why are we here? Obviously, we're talking about fees. Fees being taxes. You have to look at taxes as a fee. It will be the highest fee that you will pay. But again, if we do think, we have a window of opportunity because does everybody agree that they're probably going to keep the tax rates the same with this, whether you agree with the administration that's in currently or not, what's on the table is the extension of those tax cuts. So in my opinion, we are going to have a reprieve, and you have a reprieve probably for the next 4 years. There are people out there that say, look, if you look at the math, we have to double taxes. Okay, so here, I'm going to cue this thing up.
What can I do for you today?
I would like to raise my debt limit.
Excuse me?
My debt limit, I'd like to raise it.
Because the last time I checked, Mr. Smith, you were in serious debt.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Figure we should raise that limit.
Yeah, it says here you're $140,270 in debt.
Right. So I figured we should raise that limit to about $170,000. I just bought a 60-inch flat screen. Have you ever been to Australia?
No.
Leaving tomorrow, mate. You should check it out. Great parasailing.
Do you have some new income that I don't know about?
No, still making about 21 grand a year.
Okay. And are you still spending $38,000 a year?
If that's what it says.
So you're adding $17,000 a year in debt.
Wow, is that what it comes out to? Debt limit going up. Ding.
Have you made any cuts in your expenses?
Oh, of course, yes. My wife and I cut $380 out of our annual budget. It's $380. It was brutal.
Okay, so you're adding $17,000 a year to your $140,000 in debt, and you cut $380.
We can get a second opinion. We can stress test your retirement income plan, because all of you came in here with I call it a retirement puzzle. A lot of those pieces are working really well together, but you may be missing pieces that you're not aware of, or some of those pieces aren't fitting together. So by doing this, it's like a doctor, you got to diagnose things properly. I mean, if you went to a doctor and your knee was swollen up to like a volleyball, and he came in, 2 minutes and went, wow, that looks pretty bad. All right, well, I'm going to prescribe some medication and call me in 2 weeks. I mean, you would think that's malpractice, because he didn't do anything. He needs to take the x-ray, he needs to look at it, he needs to figure out what the heck's going on there. So that allows us to do this stress test. And we're not selling anything here. We're not selling a product. If I'm going to sell you on anything, it's really to take action, because all the stuff we're going to talk about, if you don't do anything with it, it's just an exercise in futility.